Original intent refers to what a law meant at the time that it was enacted. Intent, as a general legal principle, is incredibly important. Intent is what differentiates between first-degree murder and manslaughter. On the one hand, first-degree murder, you intended, you premeditated, you put together a plan, and you had the intent to go out and do harm and to kill somebody. Manslaughter is an accident. Intent is incredibly important in our legal system. Original intent establishes what the law meant to those who passed it. And that interpretation of the law is the correct interpretation. But, society and our understanding changes, and you got to adapt, and you got to be able to adapt the interpretation of what it means to new changes and new ways of thinking about the world. Well, not exactly. The Constitution turns out accounted for a way to make changes as the world adapts and as we understand new things. There's a way you can change the Constitution, and it's called the amendment process. It's not through reinterpreting the law to your preference. Reinterpreting laws to suit whims and personal preferences is a recipe for instability, confusion, and chaos. And that's what we have. You have Supreme Court justices that have allowed their personal opinions about what they think it should be changed to influence the outcome instead of relying solely on what those who passed the law intended for that law. In a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to Supreme Court Justice William Johnson, he said, "On every question of construction, carry ourselves back to the time when the Constitution was adopted. Recollect the spirit manifested in the debates, and instead of trying what meaning may be squeezed out of the text, which is exactly what we've been doing in recent decades, or invented against it, conform to the probable one in which it was passed." James Madison also said, "What a metamorphosis would be produced in the code of law if all its ancient phraseology were to be taken in its modern sense." Justice James Wilson, who is one of only 6 people who signed both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, said that the first and governing maxim in the interpretation of a statute is to discover the meaning of those who made it. Justice Joseph Story, who is the founder of Harvard Law School and who was nominated to the Supreme Court by President James Madison, said, "The first and fundamental rule in the interpretation of all instruments or documents is to construe them according to the sense of the terms and the intention of the parties." What did the people who framed this, whether it's a contract or a constitution or a local law, what did they intend by it? It's original intent. It is absolutely a critical element of a legal system that is governed by the rule of law.